Masaya ako kay Darius. At ayokong sirain ko ano man ang meron ko ngayon. Chris, simula ngayong araw na to, iiwasan na kita. Pero pwede ka makapagkita kay Tyrone dahil ikaw ang ama niya. Pero hanggang doon na lang yun.
Excuse me.
Alam mo, kahit nagbago na yung buhay natin, yung pagmamahal ko sa'yo, hindi magbabago yun.
Love you.
Mamaya na yan. Tapusin mo na muna yung pagkain mo.
Enjoy your food po. Ayan. Order complete na po ba? Sige po kapag nag-lang. Ito, tawakin mo lang ito. Sige po. Salamat.
Mauna na muna ako, sige.
Oh, saan ka pupunta?
Nag-text sa akin si Paring June, pag-usapan namin yung bagong business. Alam mo na, siyempre, hindi naman ako para umasa sa inyo kahit binigay na ni Ate Lalcho. Alam, ako pa rin ang padre de pamilya.
Alam ko naman yon, pero kung anong meron kami, syempre kasama ka din doon.
Ako sir.
Sige, ingat ha.
Ay, naku. Sana lang talaga mali yung kutob ko.
Ano na naman yan, Adela?
Kasi Rosel, hindi mo pa napapansin. Yung asawa mo, ang dalas-dalas na umaalis. Wala namang malinaw kung saan siya pumupunta. Di malinaw, hindi naman natin alam saan.
Adela, kasi maraming gustong patunayan si Darius, kaya hinahayaan ko siya. Siyempre, ayoko naman siya mawalan ng dignidad.
Rosel, alam mo, itong sasabihin ko sa'yo. Maraming mga lalaki na kapag na ganyan, umasenso sa buhay, naku, nakakaisip ulo ko. Ha? Kaya mabuti kung totoong oportunidad yung inaatupag niyan.
Ano ba yung pinagsasasabi mo? Hindi naman magagawa sa akin ni Darius yan. May tiwala ako sa kanya. Ano ka ba?
Basta nagpapaalala lang ako sa'yo, ha? Na marami talaga akong kilalang ganyan kapag ka medyo umasenso sa buhay. Ayan, nakakaisip magloko. Mag-iingat ka.
Salamat. Imposible yung sinasabi mo, hindi ang gagawin sa akin ni Darius. May tiwala ako sa kanya.
Basta mag-iingat ka. Masyado kang matiwala, Rosel.
Oh, anak. May problema ka ba?
Nay, paano kung malaman niya yung sikreto ko?
Anong sikreto?
Nay, promise niyo sa akin na hindi kayo magagalit sa akin.
Tali, ano ba yun?
Cheers! Happy anniversary sa atin!
Diba sabi ko sa'yo, hindi ako magtatagal.
Ano ba? Special day natin, no?
Baka makahalata na si Rosel.
Puisit na Rosel na yan. Alam mo, mayaman na siya. Dapat yung inaasikaso niya. Yung mga negosyo ng tandang Jacinta na yun.
Ngayon pa ba tayo magiging careless? Kaya mo, hanap lang ako ng pagkakataon para masimulan na natin yung plano natin.
Alam mo, laging yan yung sinasabi mo. Puro kasat-sat. Sinong mas masarap sa amin ni Rosel? Sinong mas magaling sa amin ni Rosel?
O Ben, ikaw muna bahala dito ha. Ikaw muna magbayad ng mga bills. Ngayon kapag kulang, tumawag ka lang.
Kaya pa ba, Dad?
Nahirap. Kakayanin. Lalo na ngayon, isasara ko yung negosyo. Pero huwag kang mag-alala, anak. Babangon ang daddy mo. Babangon tayo.
Dad, hindi maganda yung kondisyon ni Mommy ngayon. She's been drinking a lot lately.
Matawag naman ako sa kanya. Hindi niya sinasagot yung mga tawag ko.
Dad, I'm really worried about Mommy.
Bel, sumama ka sa akin. Sige na.
Dad, di ko pwede iwan si Mommy sa sitwasyon niya ngayon. Hindi po ba kayo naaawa sa kanya?
I'm sorry, Bel, ha? Pati ikaw naiipit. Hindi ko naman gusto na maipit ka sa sitwasyon.
Pero Dad, si Mommy, she needs you.
Bel, friendship na lang ang kaya kong i-offer sa mami mo. I'm sorry.
Anong ginagawa mo dito? Di ba umalis ka na? So bakit ka nandito ngayon?
Mga walang hiya kayo! Manluloko kayo mga kaya! Walang hiya talaga kayo! Kaya! Walang chika sa bahay ka! Kayo! Kayo! Tama na! Selma! Kayo! Tama na! Tumulungin kayo! Manluloko kayo! Ayos kayo! Halika dito! Halika dito! Walang chika! Walang chika ang babae ka! Napakalanting mo talaga! Manluloko! Pinasok mo kami ang flower kasi! Tapos ito gagawin niya! Bitawan mo ako! Bitawan mo ako! Hindi pa ako sapat! Bitawan mo sa akin ako! Napakalanting mo talaga! Napakalanting mo! Napakalanting mo ba? Napakalanting mo! Ako mahalita rin! Tumigil ka! Ako mahalita ka! Ayos! Ayos! Bitawan mo ako!
Mommy, nakainom na naman po kayo. Nag-iwan lang po ng pera si Dad.
Diba?
Pambayad lang ng bills para lang makatulong ako. Bel,
Yung pera mo!
bakit ka nagkakaganyan? Pwede ba umayos ka?
Ikaw! Ikaw yung umayos! Ikaw dapat yung nag-iisip bago ka nakipaglandian doon sa Rosel na yun!
Wala kaming relasyon. Paulit-ulit ko na sinasabi sa'yo. Wala! Wala kaming relasyon!
Mommy, Mommy, Mommy!
Ikaw pala naman! Pareho kayo mga lalaki! Manluloko kayo!
Mommy, tama na, please!
Lumayas ka dito! Lumayas ka dito! Hindi kita kailangan! Hindi kita kailangan!
Mommy, Mommy, Mommy! Dad, umalis ka na, please!
Dapat kailangan huwag ka na papalik dito! Babalik dito!
Mommy, tama na. It's okay.
Huwag magbibiros.
Hayop ka! Magnanakaw ka! Puputulin ko yung kasamaan mo para sa ganon, wala ka nang gagamitin sa panloloko mo!
Bitawan mo yung mga... Huwag mo ka!
Hayop ka! Hayop! Hayop ka! Hayop ka! Bitawan mo ako!
Sugatan ako, Mano!
Magnanakaw ka talaga! Matiisin ako! Matiisin akong tao pa rin! Di sa mga katulad mo panloloko! Bitawan mo! Bumalik ka dito! Hayop ka! Bumalik ka dito!
Patawarin mo ako, Rosel! Huwag ka magbibiro!
Walang hiya! Walang hiya ka!
Kapag bibiro, mamamatay ako! Rosel!
Walang hiya ka talaga! Niloloko ka! Niloloko ka talaga! Ano mo papaliwanag?
Rosel, magpapaliwanag ako! Wala! Mali! Mali ang iniisip mo, Rosel!
Anong mali? Huling-huli ka na! Huling-huli!
Mali!
Niloloko ka! Umalis kayo! Umalis kayo dyan! Bumalik ka dito! Walang hiya ka! Hayop ko talaga! Hayop! Bumalik ka dito! Manloloko ka! Manloloko ka! Darius! Bumalik ka dito!
Ano nangyari?
May hinahanap ako!
Anong hinahanap mo, te?
Malaking daga! Malaking daga na naghanap ng ibang lungga!
Ay, andun! Andun! Andun po natin!
Darius! Darius!
Sir, patawarin mo ako, Rosel!
Gaano katagal mo na ako niloloko, ha?
Sir, patawarin mo!
Sagutin mo ako! Gaano katagal mo na ako niloloko? Sagutin mo ako!
Alam kita! Patawarin mo!
Anong mahal? Anong klaseng pagmamahal yan, ha? Anong klaseng pagmamahal yan? Anong klaseng pagmamahal yan? Anong klaseng pagmamahal yan? Panloloko! Laro-laro!
Patawarin mo ako! Mahal kita! Totoo yun! Hindi
Anong totoo?
yun! Totoo yun!
Ngayon lang ako nagmahal ulit! Ngayon lang ako nagtiwala ulit! Pinaglaban kita, pinagtanggol kita, pinaglaban kita, pinagtanggol kita! Hayop! Hayop ka! Hayop ka! Hayop! Pinagtanggol kita!
Sorry!
Anong sorry? 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 Talaga? Talaga? O ayan, isa pa! Magsama kayo ng kabit mo!
Rosel! Ayoko na sanang mawala ka sa akin. Alam ng isip puso ko na ikaw yung babaeng dapat kong mahalin habang buhay. Okay ba sa'yo na magpakasal sa akin?
Kilalang kilala ko si Darius. Kahit nakapikit ang mga mata ko. Alam ko ang pagkatao ng lalaking pakakasalan mo. Nagmamalasakit ako sa iyo, Rosel. Pati kay Tyrone. Pag-iisipan mong mabuti itong gagawin mo.
Pero, pasensya na po. Sana po maintindihan niyo po ako. Sa ngayon po kasi hindi ko po kayo kayang sundin.
Sen, napakaganda mo. Wala akong masabi, wala akong reklamo.
Huwag ka nang bumalik doon. Huwag ka nang umasang mapapatawad ka pa ni Rosel.
Nababaliw ka na ba? Tagal-tagal natin tinabaho ito. Ngayon pa ba ako susuko?
O anong gagawin mo? Ano, maglulumuhod ka pabalik kay Rosel? Ha? Mag-aaksaya ka lang ng pagod. Hindi mo ba siya nakita galit na galit to? Baka mamaya mapatay ka pa nun.
Kasalanan mo to eh. Ilang beses ko na sinasabi sa'yo. Maglaylo muna tayo. Ano ginawa mo? Hindi ka nakikinig.
Hoy, ginusto mo rin to. Dahil alam mo na ako lang yung nakakapagbigay ng hindi nabibigay na asawa mo.
Kailangan namin magkaayos ni Rosel.
Alam mo, pinagtataka ko. Paano niya nalaman? Bakit siya biglang sumubo dito na parang alam niya na may huhulihin siya?
Nay? Nay, uminom ka muna po.
Mukhang pulang hiya sila. Mga hayop. Matiisin akong tao. Mapagpatawad ako. Pero hindi yung ginawa niya. Ang sakit. Ang sakit. Ang sakit-sakit itong ginawa niya. Ang sakit.
Nay, naiintindihan kita. Kasi, yun na yung naramdaman ko nung inagaw sa akin ni Belle si Wesley. Kaya nung nalaman ko na agad kong sinabi sa'yo kasi alam kong hindi mo deserve you. Niloloko ka lang nila, Nay. Tagal na.
Sino? Sinong tinutukoy mo?
Si Tito Darius at Melania.
Anak, ano ba yung pinagsasabi mo?
May relasyon sila, Nay. Madalas silang nagkikita at kung ano-anong kalokohan yung ginagawa nila pag nakatalikod ka.
Anak, imposible yung sinasabi mo. Mahal ako ng Tito Darius mo. Hindi niya magagawa sa akin.
Nay, bakit naman ako magsisinungaling? Gusto ko lang malaman mo yung totoo kasi loyal ako sa inyo. Ayoko nang nakikita na niloloko ka at pinagtatawanan ka ng dalawang yun.
May katibayan ka ba? Paano mo mapapatunayan yung sinasabi mo?
Pumunta ka na sa bahay ni Melania. Nandun si Tito Darius.
Anak, kakasabi lang ng Tito Darius mo sa akin na meron daw siyang imimit tukod daw dun sa bago niyang negosyo. Imposible yan. Ang mabuti pa, tatawagan ko na lang.
Hindi, huwag na. Huwag mo nang tawagan. Mas mabuti pang puntahan mo na lang sila para makita mo mismo kung ano yung sinasabi ko. Basta na eh. Kahit anong gawin mo, kahit anong mangyari, please, huwag mong sasabihin na ako yung nagsumbong. Sorry, Nay, kung nasaktan kayo sa mga sinabi ko.
Hindi mo kailangan mag-sorry. Tama yung ginawa mo.
Nay, ayoko lang kasi talaga na patuloy pa kayong lokohin, Tito Darius. Kasi alam ko na you deserve so much better, Nay. Salamat. Salamat.
Nay, okay ka lang? Ano ba nangyari? Ay naman. Trending sa social media ngayon ang panunugod mo kay Tito Darius.
So, ano na plano mo ngayon? Nakahuli na kayo ni Darius.
Tuloy pa rin ang buhay, Loisa.
Kuya Melania, hindi mo pwedeng ganyan yan na parang walang nangyari, tuloy ang buhay. Trending kaya yung pagkakahuli ni Rosel kay Darius.
Alam mo, gagawa ng paraan yan si Darius. Alam ko na hindi niya hahayaan na mabaliwala lang yung mga pinaghirapan namin. Saka ako, hindi nila ako basta-basta makakawawa.
Maasa ka pa rin.
Siyempre, kasi may natitira pa akong alas laban sa kanila.
Sino?
Si Tali. Si Tali ang magiging susi ko sa lahat.
Nay, samurai wife ang tawag sa'yo ng mga netizen.
Nay, may over 1 million views na siya, Nay. Pero lahat naman ng mga comments kumakampi sa'yo.
Nay, sabi nila, karma mo daw yan. Kaya yan, pinapost ulit nila yung video na inaway mo si Ma'am Via.
Kaya yung ginawa ko. Hindi ko dapat ginawa yun. Hindi, Nay! Hindi ka dapat mahiya dahil sila yung may pagkakamali. Sila yung dapat mahiya. Hindi ikaw.
Pero tama si Tali, Nay. Walang yaka! Dapat hindi mo sinaktan si nanay! Walang yaka!
Pasensya na po baka di ko na po kayong kakayanang i-maintain. Maliit na bagay yung mapagsilbihan ko kayo. Doon man lang makabawi ako sa mga kasalanan ko sa'yo.
Ano po mga kasalanan?
Tingnan natin kung anong magiging reaksyon nila pag sinabi ko sa kanila yung totoo. Yung isang sikreto na tinatago mo.
Anong sikreto to?
Kuya, nakuha niyo na po ba yung labi ng anak ko?
Mrs. Dizon, wala hong sign or anything na makapagsasabing may nakalibing po dito sa puntod na ito.
Amsterdam in 1667 was the richest city in the world, a place where merchants commanded fleets that circled the globe, where more books were published than in all of France, where religious refugees found sanctuary, and where a middle-class painter named Rembrandt had just died in relative poverty, despite creating some of history's greatest masterpieces. This was the golden age at its absolute peak. A city of just 200,000 souls that controlled a trading empire stretching from New Amsterdam on the Hudson River to the Spice Islands of Indonesia, from the slave posts of West Africa to the trading factories of Japan. The canals teemed with ships carrying pepper, silk, sugar, and tulip bulbs. Wealth flowed through counting houses where double-entry bookkeeping was transforming capitalism itself. Yet beneath the prosperity lurked poverty, religious tension, and the constant threat of war with England and France. Today, advanced AI technology allows us to transform 17th century paintings, engravings, and maps into photorealistic recreations, bringing this lost world back to life. Join me as we step into the Amsterdam our ancestors once knew, a city that invented modern finance, pioneered religious tolerance, and proved that a republic of merchants could rival the great monarchies of Europe. The harbor, gateway to the world. Stand on the waterfront near the I.J. Harbor in 1667, and you're witnessing the busiest port in Europe, perhaps the world. The water is a forest of mass, hundreds of ships crowding the harbor, massive East Indiamen returning from months-long voyages to Asia, smaller flights carrying Baltic timber and grain, fishing boats from the North Sea, warships of the Dutch Navy. Watch that East India Company ship being unloaded. Its hold contains treasures that will transform European life. Pepper and cloves from the Moluccas, porcelain and silk from China, cotton textiles from India, coffee from Java. The spices alone are worth their weight in silver. A single successful voyage can make investors wealthy beyond imagination, though risks are enormous. Ships sink, crews die from disease, pirates attack. Perhaps 1 in 3 voyages fails completely, but the successful ones generate such profits that merchants keep investing. The Dutch East India Company, the VOC, is the world's first true multinational corporation. It issues shares that can be bought and sold on the Amsterdam Stock Exchange, the world's first formal stock market. The VOC has its own army, its own fleet, and authority to negotiate treaties and wage war. It's a profit-seeking enterprise with the powers of a sovereign state, making Amsterdam unimaginably wealthy. But look closer at the human cost. Those ships also carry enslaved people from West Africa to the Caribbean and Brazil. The VOC maintains brutal control over the Spice Islands, imposing monopolies, destroying competitors' crops, massacring resistors. The wealth flowing through Amsterdam is built on violence and exploitation on an industrial scale. The harbor itself is an engineering marvel. Amsterdam sits on swampy ground reclaimed from the sea through dikes and windmills. The entire city is built on millions of wooden pilings driven deep into mud. The canal system, expanded massively in the early 1600s, creates both transportation network and elegant residential districts. The smell is overwhelming. Saltwater and tar, fish and exotic spices, hemp rope and sewage. The noise is constant. Sailors shouting in a dozen languages, cargo being loaded, ship's bells, hammers from shipyards where new vessels are constantly under construction. The canals, liquid streets of gold. Walk along the Herengracht, the Gentleman's Canal, and you're strolling through one of the world's most elegant neighborhoods. The canal houses rise 4 or 5 stories, narrow but deep. Their distinctive gabled facades decorated in Renaissance and classical styles. These aren't just homes, they're statements of wealth, each merchant competing to build something grander than his neighbors. Look at the architecture. The facades are narrow because property taxes are based on street frontage, encouraging tall, deep buildings. Those hooks jutting from the top, they're for hoisting furniture and goods to upper floors via the exterior because the staircases inside are too narrow and steep. The interiors are surprisingly luxurious. Oak paneling, expensive wallpaper, paintings covering walls. Delftware pottery fills cabinets. These merchants collect art voraciously. A successful trader might own 30 or 40 paintings, creating private galleries showcasing Dutch mastery of light and everyday life. But the canals themselves are less romantic than tourists imagine. They're working waterways used for transportation, commerce, and unfortunately, sewage disposal. Chamber pots are emptied into canals. Industrial waste flows in from breweries, tanneries, and dye works. The water is brown, foul-smelling, occasionally choked with garbage. In summer, the stench is overwhelming. In winter, when canals freeze solid, they become impromptu highways and skating rinks. Walk the streets and notice the diversity. Amsterdam is a magnet for immigrants and refugees. Portuguese Jews fleeing the Inquisition have established a thriving community, building magnificent synagogues. Philosopher Baruch Spinoza lives here, grinding lenses while revolutionizing Western thought with radical ideas about God and nature that scandalize traditional believers. French Huguenots, Protestant refugees fleeing Catholic persecution, have brought textile skills. Germans, Scandinavians, even some English, all find opportunity here. The city's relative religious tolerance attracts talent that enriches economy and culture. You'll hear multiple languages on every street, see different styles of dress, Observe various religious practices coexisting in ways impossible in most European cities. Rembrandt, Beauty and Bankruptcy. Walk through the Jordan, a working-class neighborhood, and you'll find where Rembrandt von Rijn died just 2 months ago in October 1667. His death received little notice. The man who painted the Night Watch and countless masterpieces died in relative obscurity and poverty, his grand house seized by creditors years earlier. Rembrandt's fall illustrates artistic success's precarious nature. In the 1640s, he was Amsterdam's most celebrated painter, commanding high prices, living luxuriously. But his style, dramatic lighting and psychological depth, fell out of fashion. Commissions dried up. His spending didn't adjust. By 1656, he declared bankruptcy. The inventory of his possessions reveals extraordinary culture. Paintings by Italian masters, classical sculptures, exotic weapons, shells and minerals, prints by Dürer and Mantegna. All sold to pay creditors, and Rembrandt spent his final years painting for dealers on commission. But Dutch painting in 1667 is flourishing. Unlike Italian or French art serving church and court, Dutch painting serves the middle class. Merchants, shopkeepers, even prosperous artisans commission portraits, buy landscapes, collect genre scenes. The market produces thousands of paintings annually. Walk into any middle-class home, and you'll see paintings covering walls, serene landscapes, seascapes showing ships, still lifes of flowers and food, genre scenes of taverns and households. Art is democratic here, no longer the exclusive preserve of nobility and church. Artists like Johannes Vermeer in Delft are creating masterpieces that won't be fully appreciated for centuries. Vermeer's domestic interiors sell for modest prices to local patrons. He's struggling financially, forced to run an art dealing business. He'll die in debt in 1675. The threat of war, England and France. In 1667, Amsterdam faces external threats. The Second Anglo-Dutch War is in its final year, a conflict over trade routes and colonial possessions. Just months ago, in June 1667, the Dutch Navy achieved a stunning victory. The raid on the Medway, sailing into the Thames estuary, burning English warships and towing away the Royal Navy flagship. It's the worst defeat in English naval history. The raid demonstrates Dutch naval prowess, but also reveals the stakes. This is existential struggle between two Protestant maritime powers competing for global trade control. The peace treaty signed at Breda in July 1667 gives New Amsterdam to England, where it becomes New York, while the Dutch gain Suriname and favorable trade terms. But a larger threat looms: France. Louis XIV is building French power relentlessly. In just 5 years, in 1672, France will invade, nearly destroying the Dutch state in what the Dutch call the Rampjaar, the disaster year. Only by opening the dikes and flooding the countryside will the Dutch stop the French advance. Amsterdam's prosperity depends on peace and open trade. The city's wealth makes it a target, and its republican government seems vulnerable to absolute monarchies surrounding it. Yet the Dutch have advantages: naval power, financial sophistication, and desperate determination of a small nation that must innovate to survive. The reality behind the Golden Age. Amsterdam in 1667 is a city of contradictions. It's wealthy beyond measure, yet vulnerable. It's religiously tolerant, yet still exclusionary. It produces sublime art while many artists struggle. It pioneers capitalism while exploiting colonized peoples across the globe. Walking these streets means encountering both magnificence and misery. The canal houses are elegant, but working-class neighborhoods are crowded and unsanitary. The paintings celebrate domestic virtue, but real households face disease and child mortality. The trading empire brings spices and silk, but it's built on slavery and violence. Yet something genuinely remarkable is happening. A small republic is proving that representative government can work, that religious tolerance is economically advantageous, and that capitalism can generate unprecedented wealth. These aren't abstract lessons, but lived realities, visible in Amsterdam's streets, canals, and institutions. Understanding Amsterdam in 1667 helps us grasp both the promise and problems of modernity. This is where capitalism matures, where global trade networks form, where art becomes democratic. But it's also where colonialism's brutality and inequality's persistence reveal themselves starkly. This was Amsterdam in 1667, the richest city in the world at the height of its golden age. If you enjoyed this step back in time, please hit the subscribe button so you don't miss where we're going next. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the past.